So this here is la, simply la. So it's quite short. Now I'm going to rewrite this. So this is written with a lam with a fathah, and we've added the alif to it, so now we've got lam alif, and this is known as a long vowel, or it makes the ah sound too long, and we'll cover this in a lesson in a later lesson where we'll concentrate on the long sounds. However, for now, if you just remember, this is actually too long. So we have on the right hand side we have la, and on the left hand side we have la, the first one being one long and the second one being two long. Now in grammar, the single length la is used for affirmation, i.e. to affirm something, and the two length la is used as absolute negation. So when you say la, it means absolutely not, and when you say la, it means effectively there is. So if you say your shahada and you say la ilaha, so you make the first la one long, you are saying there is a God other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to be very careful. What you should be saying is la ilaha, because you're doing absolute negation. There is no God other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you can see here, just by getting your lengths wrong in your shahada, you could be effectively saying the opposite of what you should be saying. So this is why lengths are very, very important, and the la and the la in your tajweed is very, very important, because most of these sentences they're used for are either affirmations or absolute negations. Length of short vowels with lam. So we're going to do an example of all the short vowels again, just with the letter lam. So here we have fathah, and we get the sound la, la. Here we have lam with the kasrah, giving the sound li, li. Remember to smile. And we have the lam with the Dummah, which gives the sound lu, lu. And remember, all of these are one long. So we have la, li, lu. We do not want to say la, li, lu. That's too long. Short vowels, i.e. your fathah, kasrah and Dummah, must be kept to one length long. La, li, lu. And this is all relative to how you actually recite or sing your Quran, but you must keep it relatively one long when compared to the longer sounds. Alif and Hamza. One thing to remember is that the alif never has a short sound on it, but Hamza does. So here's the alphabet alif. Now one must be careful in the actual Quran. This is used as a long vowel, so it helps to lengthen the ah sound from one long to two long. It does not function as a consonant on its own. The one you will see is the Hamza sitting on top of the alif. So here we have Hamza on an alif with fathah, Hamza on an alif with a kasrah, and Hamza on an alif with the Dummah. So you will never see these short markings, i.e. the short vowel markings, on top of an alif. When you see them on top of this alif sign, it will always be a Hamza. Now in the Uthmani script, they will show you these small Hamzas when they're there, i.e. when it's actually a Hamza. In the Majidi script, sometimes they drop the little Hamza sitting on the alif, but they keep the alif sign itself, so it ends up looking like the long vowel alif, but they will still be Hamzas. And we'll do a detailed analysis of the Majidi versus the Uthmani script towards the end of our webinars or the end of our Tajweed course, so you need to be a bit patient with that. But just be aware, in proper Tajweed technical terms, the long vowel alif can never have short vowel sounds on them, because it itself is being used as a long vowel to lengthen the length of generally the Fathah sound. So these hamzas with the Fathah, Kasrah and Dummah give the sounds a, I, u, a, I, u, and this is hamza on its own. So this is a. Now for this example, we've drawn the little hamza above the alif when it carries a kasra, and that's just to get you used to hamza sitting on an alif. We'll see later on when we do this in more detail, this little hamza will switch and it will be underneath the alif. So normally when you have the hamza and alif with a kasra underneath it, the hamza will move to the bottom of the alif. So we've just drawn it here just to keep things simple at the moment. So in correctly written letters, this hamza will be at the bottom when you have the kasra on it. The hamza will be on top of the alif if it carries a fatha or a dhamma. When you have the hamza on its own, it can have the fatha, kasra or dhamma on it. So we've just drawn one example here giving a. So again, these are all hamza. A final note on the short vowel Fathah. In this lesson we have only introduced the short vowel sound, so we haven't really done a proper analysis of those short vowel sounds on every alphabet. We've only just touched on it, so it's just an introduction to get you used to what the short vowel sounds are. In the future lessons dealing only with Fathah, so we're going to have some lessons that are very in depth on the pronunciation of Fathah with other alphabet and how it is applied to each alphabet, we will see that it can give slightly different sounds than a to letters. So this is one thing to be aware of. When you're putting the Fathah on top of alphabets, the sound will actually not always be an a sound, and we'll cover that in the lessons later on, and it's something to do with what we call tafkhim and tarqiq, which is fattening and thinning of some of the alphabet letters and their sounds. So in conclusion, we have learnt what Fathah, Kasra and Dhamma are and how they function. We know the importance of pronouncing the short vowels with the correct sound length. In future lessons we will learn how to pronounce the entire alphabet with each short vowel.